It has been a tough time in recent times for Antonio Conte and Tottenham Hotspur, but recent form did suggest that maybe things were starting to come good rather, and that there was a bit of an upturn that could be sensed by the club faithful. However, their elimination from the UEFA Champions League has brought about more frayed tension and the rather inevitable feeling that maybe, just maybe, Antonio Conte's tenure as Tottenham Hotspur manager might come to an end. The match in itself was a rather turgid affair, truth be told, because they were 1-0 down against AC Milan and playing at home needed a result. So 1-0 isn't the massivest of deficits if you're looking at it, but Spurs played with really not much creativity, not much drive. They looked like the second best team, and even though Milan were the away side, not once did they look all that trouble by whatever Tottenham were trying to do, which admittedly wasn't all that much. In fact, what has happened now is that the nature of this loss has led to a lot of people questioning whether Spurs will even look to extend Antonio Conte's contract, which, lest we forget, runs out at the end of the season. Conte, on the other hand, has gone one step further and claimed that the club might just sack him. Not even kidding, that's exactly what he said. In fact, he said, "My contract expires in June. We will see. They might sack me even before the end of the season." Now, really, as far as throwing in the towel goes, this is probably one of the more interesting cases I've seen from managers, because he's not even trying to make a case for himself to get a new contract. And truth be told, he has said some things where he said that, look, we're trying to build a long-term project, this, that, but Conte is always going to Conte, and his true feelings eventually will come out, and they did even here. He said quite flatly, "We don't have a foundation to be competitive, to fight to win, in my opinion." Now, damning words indeed from a manager, because it really just pours water over whatever good work the teams, or rather the recruitment team, the directors of football, and all the people working behind the scenes have done. Conte would have doubtless known beforehand that Spurs was not the kind of club where you could be splashing around unlimited cash, but a club where they would look to be signing players sensibly. So, if that wasn't really what he wanted, the real question is, why did he take the job? Because as we were predicting, or as a lot of people were predicting, this didn't seem like a natural fit, and it's becoming more and more evident as the time wears on, because, well, Conte himself doesn't seem to be all that confident about himself continuing in the role to begin with. Truly a sad state of affairs when you look at it, but what is also worth noting is that this loss actually ended up elongating a rather disastrous time for Antonio Conte in the UEFA Champions League. How so, you'll ask? Well, because despite the fact that Conte is an absolute great when it comes to winning domestic titles, whether it be leagues or domestic cups, his record in Europe hasn't quite been that impressive. In fact, he's won 5 league titles, 3 Serie A's with Juventus, 1 Serie A with Inter Milan, and a Premier League title with Chelsea. He's also won 3 domestic cups, 2 of which came with Juventus, and 1, of course, that came with Chelsea when he won the FA Cup in his second and final year. But he has never won a tournament in Europe. That, of course, includes not just the Champions League. He's not won the Europa League or the Conference League. In fact, his best showing in the Champions League has been making it to the quarter-finals. In fact, if you look at the Europa League, he did manage to take Inter Milan to the final, but they also ended up losing. So, in Europe, Conte has not had a great pedigree, and that is continuing to show even now with this Spurs side. And yes, we all know that the Spurs side has some deficiencies for sure. Improving them, if you're looking at bringing in players, wasn't going to happen overnight. Yet that is exactly what Conte has seemingly, rather mystifyingly expected, and now it looks like, unfortunately, Conte and Spurs' rather loveless marriage, by the look of things, is set to be coming to a premature end. Whether that be at the end of this summer, or whether it is sooner, as the man himself is predicting, they might just sack me, well, that remains to be seen, but it does very much appear to be inevitable. And what's more, Conte's rather poor run in Europe, which is something that would, of course, now dissuade a lot of clubs from going after him, continues on. So no one really wins from all of this. It's an unfortunate situation for everyone, but Conte has not been helping himself. At least that's how I feel about this. What do you guys think? You can let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and don't forget to download the AajTak app as well. If you're already on the channel, go ahead and check out some other videos that we've done. For now though, from my side, goodbye.